So let's begin with, because I'm in awe.
I'm Tracy Godfrey, by the way. Some people don't know me.
Everybody
by the way,
knows
they don't care. But
All right, this is Tracy Godfrey, amazing actress, performer, mom, superhero, voiceover artist. Did I miss anything?
no, I'm just
Oh.
pantomiming, just to.
The creator of
Oh well, God, yeah.
Oh, we're gonna leave that for later.
Writer. All kinds of. It's okay. I also sew buttons on shirts really well. Good.
I may have a shirt for you.
Yeah. I make a mean beef stew too. I do.
So all jokes aside,
That was serious. I'm dead serious. I'm good at that.
okay. So can you tell me a little bit about, and tell everyone here, what is a typical day like for you?
A typical day. Well, lucky for me, every day is different because of what I do and because of the fact that fearless is one thing, and then you have kids, and that changes everything. So my days vary. When I was doing a lot of television, it could be that I was up at 4 to get in a car to go to the studio for As the World Turns or for Law and Order to be on set by 6 to do this wonderful magic that is just, you're standing there and you're like, oh my God, I'm so happy to be here. And then I have fitness. I do a lot of fitness work, and I run around doing auditions and bookings for voiceovers. And I'm writing. I have a play that's being looked at right now. So my day is a little crazy. I met today with a potential director and the backer of the play that I'm working on right now, and that was one of the things I did. I also I had my hair blown out. That was the biggest, probably the biggest part of my day. And thank you, thank you so much. Anyway, and I think the best part of my day is my son likes for me to take him downstairs in the morning and put him on the sofa before our caregiver gets there. And I got to tell you, no matter what's happening to me for the rest of the day, it can be the most amazing stuff. Carrying that boy downstairs and putting him on the sofa and saying "Te quiero mucho" to my son, who is from Guatemala, adopted from Guatemala, and looking at him is just the best part of my day. Yeah, it's the coolest part of my day.
No matter who you speak to, and no matter how many stories you watch on the telly, it's like when people are doing the right things, and it doesn't matter what you do, the most important thing is your family. And that's a wonderful world that I want to continue to live in, where our families and the people we love are the most important things.
True. I was talking to this gentleman over here about and also some of the wonderful people I've just met this evening about that. If you're not happy within yourself, though, you tend to reflect that onto the universe, and so that is true. And we can be happy within our families and our careers by doing just what you said. But that's true.
Because I know we have a lot of people here tonight who were and are big fans of Law and Order Criminal Intent. What 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 was it like playing Detective Agnes Farley?
Well, don't you love the name Agnes? By the way, it's so funny because the first day I was on set with Catherine Araby, she was like, Agnes. I mean, who names somebody? I mean, is there any Agnes here tonight? Sorry, I think it's a lovely name. But I was seriously. So Agnes Farley. So my agent called me. My then agent. I'm with a new agency now, and then not for any reason other than it was time to change. Sometimes we go through these periods, and so my agent called me and said they're looking for a one-time deal. They want a detective for Law and Order: Criminal Intent. And I went to the audition and I got it. And the writers and the producer liked me so much that they said, "Hey, we need this role to continue." Agnes Farley. I mean, and now I sound Jewish. What? Agnes Farley is a Jewish grandmother. Oh my God, who would have known? But so I continued with that role, and it was just divine. It was really tremendous because Dick Wolf and the whole Law and Order crew and team they're so like clockwork and so amazingly professional and so tremendous and so comforting and familial and not hubristic and egotistical. It was like I couldn't wait to do that show. It was a privilege. It was an absolute privilege to do. When it ended, it didn't occur to me and the show, Criminal Intent is no longer. SVU, I think, is still on, and and Basic Law and Order, I think, is still on. But I don't even keep track. I just know that there are reruns because I get residual checks. But when the show ended, I was so busy with other things. I thought, okay, it's a shame. And then I came to this, oh my gosh, the show is over. This is horrible because it was so wonderful working with such professionals. I mean, these people are amazing, and there is no time for error. There really isn't. They're just working on a TV show like that. These guys come in, they hit their mark, they do their stuff, and bada bing. And wait, that was Sopranos. But anyway, seriously, it was tremendous. It was I was honored to be able to be a part of it.
So you're a bit of a comedian as well, huh?
What are you talking? No, I'm not. Really? My son says that.
Just a little bit.
You know, he likes me to do that when we're alone, but when he has a play date or when he's like, at school, he's like, "Hey, Mom, don't do that."
Mom, can you...
I'm like, "What do you mean? What are you talking about?"
Mom, can you behave yourself?
And then, no, what I do is I say, I'm going to be like other mommies and be like, "Honey, are you okay?" He's like, "No, I don't want that either." I'm like, "Well, I am me, dude. That's who I am. You got what you got."
I want to go back to Agnes.
Do we have to?
Yeah, because what about her really inspired you? Why were you sad when it ended? What about her?
One of the things that happened, we were shooting an episode that happened in Prospect Park, I believe it was. Yes, it was. And one of the writers came from, and we were far, the location was far from set. The location was, far from the trailer where the writers and everybody were. And one of the writers, who apparently had written part of this episode, came to find me coming down the slippery path, it was kind of rainy, and the poor woman who played the dead body had been lying there for 3 hours with blood, and for continuity purposes, they were taking Polaroids because she had to get up and go to the bathroom. I mean, it was like that kind of day. And this woman came down to find me, and she said, "Tracy," and I'd never met her, she was a writer, and she said, "You brought something to this role that really was just basically supposed to be the body finder, but there was a female, not that males don't feel this, but she said, you brought something to the original episodes that you weren't comfortable with the deaths that you were witnessing or the bodies that you were finding or there was something about it." And I thought, geez, I didn't know I did that, but that was kind of cool. And I realized that you even in the 2 scene parts are the most difficult. The 12 scene parts are the easiest. You have a long time to make mistakes. But when you're doing the shorter versions of roles on television, especially, you don't have that opportunity. And to make a mark like that was terrific, and it was quite a compliment from her. And again, what I learned from that was that she was looking for a powerful female detective who was vulnerable to a certain degree, but had to remain powerful because of the kind of job that Agnes Farley did, which was unfortunately to find the the bodies, if you will.
And that's not an easy, even though you're playing a part, and it's not real. It's also real. That people do this stuff.
A lot of Law and Order was, I mean, we all know this. We would see an episode of Law and Order and know that 3 months ago that happened downtown, or it happened in Chicago, or this was, so Dick Wolf, genius, by the way, had a group of people who worked on stuff that was very kind of personal to us all. So, it was real. Because it as an actor, you make things real anyway, but certainly these things were real, and I think that there was a message. There are lots of messages through Law and Order episodes that still hit home all the time,
And for
about
you,
our society and about our culture and about our relations.
and for you, it's not only Law and Order, but you've done a great body of work where I guess my question is, have you learned about being fearless? Because I think you have, which is why you're sitting here.
Fearless is a funny word. It really is.
What does it mean to you?
I think my biggest fear in life is not when I meet people who have not explored their passions. That scares me. My biggest, if I have to look, whether I go today or tomorrow or in 20 or 30 or 40 years, if I look back and say I didn't explore that part of my life that I was passionate about, that's tragic. Not exploring that is tragic. Exploring it, maybe not finding it, or maybe finding another venue, that's great. To me, my biggest fear is not having done it or not having tried to do that. That, to me, is sad. When I moved to New York, by the way, my 29th anniversary, February 20th, 1984, was when I moved to New York. I had $1,200. I had not one friend in New York. I was an actress. I'd been an actress since I was 5 with the Houston Grand Opera and tons of theater in Houston and going to University of Houston. And I needed to go to New York. So I came to New York with $1,200, a suitcase, and I landed at the airport, and I went to Port Authority, and I went to the Edison Hotel, and it was $50 a night, and I figured I better find an apartment, and I better find a job really quickly because I'm going to run out of this money because New York is expensive. $50 a night doesn't seem like a lot to you youngins out there, but in 1984, $50 a night was a lot of money. And I literally knew nobody. And this is pre-cell phone. This is pre-anything. And so I found a job in the garment center, and I found an apartment on, yes, my address was 1255 Park Avenue, but if you could have seen it, it didn't look like 1255 Park. I was like, Mom, I found an apartment at 1255 Park Avenue. And she's like, oh my God. And I'm like, oh, if you could only see it. You could saddle the roaches, I mean, seriously, it was horrible. But I was fearless at that point in my life. I would do anything. And I got a job as a receptionist in the garment center, and it was really a horrible February. It was, I think there was a blizzard that year, but I was determined to go to my receptionist job in my Evan Picone skirt, by the way, Evan Picone, yeah. And my hair was up. I did it an upsweep, and my nails were done, and I was wearing heels in the snow, walking from my 1255 Park Avenue apartment. And I went to the number 6 train to go down to transfer from Grand Central to go down to the Garment Center to go to my receptionist job at Bay City Mills, where I was supposed to say, Bay City Mills. And I was a receptionist in Houston for an oil company where we said, would you like a glass of Jack Daniels with that? And y'all, wait a minute, a foot massage over here and whatever. I mean, totally different. The Garment Center in the 80s, are you kidding me? You're too young for this. Y'all don't know this, but let me tell you, holy cannoli, how to wake up a Texas girl. So I get on the 6 train and I'm in my heels with my Evan Picone suit and my hair in an upsweep and my nails done. And I'm looking around at all these apparently fashionable New York ladies in their dresses, and they're wearing sneakers. And I'm like, and carrying bags, and I'm like, you losers. Hello? I'm wearing heels, baby. That's what I'm talking about. So I go, and I'm like walking through the snow, and I'm like, losers, you guys have sneakers on? This is the fashion mecca of the universe? I don't think so. I get to work, and they're all taken, and they're looking at me like a loser. And so they get there, and they take their sneakers off and put their Charles Jourdain pumps on. And I'm like, oh my God, I get it. Totally get it. But I didn't show it, but I was determined. I didn't care. It was like I was going to be in New York. I was going to find work acting no matter what it took. I rented this apartment. I didn't know it didn't have a sink in the bathroom. I didn't know it didn't have a stove until I moved in. I went to the Edison Hotel and got my suitcase and moved into my apartment, went to wash my hands in the bathroom, and I go, oh, there's not a sink in here. So that, I don't know if I could do that now. Fearless is an interesting word because it evolves.
And it means different things to different people. When you're asked that question, what does fearlessness mean to you, or being fearless? The answer that I'm about to get can be very different depending on how you feel about it. And obviously your experience in New York City and the things that you went through and the things that you connected to your belief in yourself, that you were going to do this. This was your dream. This is New York City. This is where we come to. This is where, you can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
Liza, are you in the house?
And that was your experience.
I'm hearing it.
So I want to know whether or not feeling fear, which I think we all do, I don't think it changes, but how has that in your evolution as an actress, from when you started to when you were in the thick of things, change?
That's a great question. Because fear is a great thing. It spurs us on to a lot of opportunity and things that we may or may not have thought we were capable of when we overcome that word fear. Fearless, that's an interesting, I've been in front of tons of people. I've been on stage in front of thousands of people. Usually I get more nervous. I just recently did Rumors in New Jersey with a tremendous director. And I did it just to kind of get my feet wet again because I hadn't done a play in a long time. I'd done television and I thought, I should do something close to home so I can be, there my partner, my kids, and whatever. And I thought, I'll do this show. And boy, was that a great experience. And by the by, I thought, I'm not going to get nervous on this. It's Neil Simon. It's rumors. I'm playing Claire. She's a sarcastic bitch. There's no stretch there. Wait a minute. Hello. But, and so I thought, this is a no-brainer. Can I tell you, I got nervous every single night. Those people were amazing. I loved what I was doing. It was a tremendous feeling. And the fear spurred me on to learn more about this new community of people who are doing amazing theater right around the corner from me. Last night, there was a reading of a play that I've written, and all I had to do was sit there, and I was more terrified than when I've been up in front of 2,000 or 3,000 people. It was bizarre. It was a table reading. And I thought, what's the deal with that? So it's fearless is, yes, we're fearless because we put ourselves out there to write a screenplay, as you have, or write a play and hear it read by other people, or put our art photography or our artwork, or go do what you do. That's fearless, but it's also it's an amazingly exhilarating experience, and you learn something every single day about yourself.